I'm the Hardcore Gamer, this is the 852-in-1 NES Rom Cart, and this is the breakdown. So recently I put out a couple of videos where I reviewed the RetronHD NES clone console and a selection of different ROM carts for various consoles. You can check out those videos via the link in the description or via the end slate to this video, as I'll be linking them heavily there. While you're there, why not like the video and subscribe to see more content like this in the future. So one night I was mindlessly browsing through the grey Dickensian marketplace that is AliExpress when I was recommended a selection of ROM carts based on my purchases of the previously reviewed SNES and Mega Drive carts, including a bunch of NES ones. After weighing up price, number of games listed and reviews, I settled on this, the Upgrade Chip Game Cartridge for NES Video Game Console 72-pin 852-in-1 Games Cart for PAL NTSC Support Save. Or as I'm going to call it, the 852, for about £16. It does come in a bunch of fancy colours too, but I went for a traditional NES grey so I could hide my filthy shame away on my game shelf.
Nobody will ever know.
Unlike the Super Pro and EDMD carts, this one doesn't have an accessible microSD card slot, and cracking it open like a cheap coconut only shows us a PCB, so we'll just assume everything is just stored on the ROM chip, shall we? Anyways, let's fire it up and see what's going on. So here's the main menu and... wait. 447 games? 405 games? But the label clearly states 852. Yeah, so it turns out this cart actually contains data for two entirely separate ROM carts, and pressing the select button switches between the two. There's not that much crossover either, so while it does contain 852 games, there are only a few that double up. Still, there is a hefty chunk of games to look at here, and although it isn't an exhaustive list of every title for the console, it contains the vast majority of stuff you'd actually want to play. So we'll start the same way we started the RetronHD review, with Super Mario Bros. As you can see, yeah, there are still colour inconsistencies, but as I mentioned in the previous video, that's probably due to the remade hardware, and is kind of understandable. Interestingly though, doesn't seem to be any of the audio issues present in the Mario Duck Hunt split cart, other than the tones sounding a little bit off, again due to the remade hardware issues that I just spoke about, leading me to believe that it was probably just a compression issue due to it being the Duck Hunt split cart. Graphics and colours seem consistent though, and the game plays virtually identically. So a decent result. Let's try the other games I listed in the RetroHD video, just to kind of see how they play. Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles plays exactly the same, as does Skate or Die. Kabuki Quantum Fighter isn't actually on the cart, so that's one I can't actually test, but the original cart plays fine anyway. California Games, you might remember, had a bunch of glitches and weird screen tears, none of which is present here. Good times! Which leads us to Time Lord. Jesus, the original cart did not cope well at all. Weirdly, the intro and all the music was perfect, the character sprites ran mostly fine, but the environments were just a flickery, glitchy mess. Apologise if you're photosensitive. Running it from this cart though, and it's perfect. Levels load perfectly, the sound isn't glitchy at all, and dare I say, it's 100% accurate. I mean, it's still frustrating as balls, but it works now? Still not sure if my original cart is bad, but this does lead me to believe it probably is. So all those compatibility issues I had using legit carts? I have no idea. Am I just the world's unluckiest NES cart collector? Since that last video, I have bought another new NES game. Here, Bart vs the Space Mutants. So let's check that out here too. And as you can see, yeah, they're identical. It is also a terrible game, but it was a cheap boxed complete NES game for my collection, so I'm not really complaining. All in all, this cart is pretty good. I'd assume that the fact it's two separate multi-carts mashed together meant there was going to be a lot of crossover, meaning you'd actually be getting less games, but I actually counted. I went through both carts with a fine-tooth comb, and there were only 5 crossover games, which is really decent. Saying that though, the range of games isn't as good as other ROM carts I've picked up. It's missing obvious titles like Super Mario Bros. 3, for example, and there were a few ROM hacks on here too. Plus, the lack of expandable memory means you can't add other games either, so titles like Kabuki Quantum Fighter will have to remain as a separate cart. That being said, having the range of games on here is pretty cool, and being able to use the RetronHD to play and capture them for future content is pretty handy. It was only 16 quid, so I'd say if you're curious, the 852 in one cart is probably worth a punt. Anyways, I've been the Hardcore Gamer. Join me next time for a much better video, but for now, wonder what other videos I've made that I can revisit in this way. Let me know in the comments. Bye! Hey folks, me again, and thank you for watching this particular video, and thanks for sticking with me. I know there's been a bit of a delay between episodes, but we're back. We're going to keep making content, and it's going to be great. Please remember to like and subscribe, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and stick with me for future videos. Anyways, thanks for watching. Talk to you again soon.